I have my own assumptions that it seems like things have not gotten better. They've gotten worse since you've actually warned us about how our privacy is and our data is being sold. We're already freaking out back then about how Alexa seems to be listening to our conversation and recommending us products. I'd be curious to see what are the changes that you've noticed from back when you did that talk and what we're seeing today.
Listen, data surveillance is massive. And with the advent of AI, now AI is really not new for our listeners because AI has been around. An algorithm is a form of AI. It's just not a learning mechanism. It's programmed to do exactly what it does. The shift is now those algorithms can learn. So in the past, let's say Facebook had thousands, which is true, and I talked about this in my TED talk, thousands of psychologists working for them, and doing psychoanalytics on how to best target Facebook members. Well, today, AI can do that for them because it's learning, it's studying you, it's learning everything about you, and then feeding that into its own system of how in the world to get you to do something, take an action, to freak you out, to keep you glued to the screen, all those things. So what we've seen is the acceleration of surveillance capitalism with this new tool called AI. And so we go back just a step back because surveillance capitalism really had its rise in the advent of Web 2 and really, got its mojo through Google, Facebook, and like-minded sites. And in 2012, one of my first interviews around Facebook was the day before they went public on Fox Business News. And they had me on to tell everybody, look, you are posting, I've got a dog, or I'm going to the store to get some dog food, and Facebook is giving you a dog food ad 10 seconds later. This is already super creepy. And Mark Zuckerberg had previously made a statement essentially saying that privacy is a social norm of the past. He said that in 2010. And so it's, look, he's been transparent. And when he said that, my jaw dropped because, for all of us, it's like, okay, for your pocketbook, you've decided that privacy is over for the world. There's something fundamentally wrong here. This is screwed up.
Yeah. And it's crazy because we're all kind of playing our part in being complicit about it for the sake of convenience, right? Like terms and conditions come up, we click accept, we use these platforms, we know we're the product, we're not paying for free platforms, we're the product and they're selling that to advertisers, and we choose to play along. And I feel like there's a long-term consequence of that maybe not as apparent, and that we're not maybe sensitized to. So I'd be curious to see, where does the end game go as we continue to be not aware or not even reacting to the fact that this is happening all the time everywhere?
This is the long tail of this because in 2013, Colin Hoback, a great documentary filmmaker, produced and filmed Terms and Conditions May Apply. And he followed Mark Zuckerberg around with a camera. And he, interviewed incredible people. And this is way before The Social Dilemma came out, 8 or 9 years later. And we have become complicit, but there's a reason why. It's called the network effect. Facebook has been so massively funded and has generated so much revenue from their ability to, target you so pinpointedly with products and services and other things that make you feel like you need them and really understand your psychology and your purchasing power and all the things. They bundle that all together as they, pop things in front of you for you to acquire, et cetera. So, but the network effect. Now, what the network effect means, everybody, is that, for Facebook, or if you're younger and you're on Snap or wherever you are, you're on X, that everybody everybody you want to know, everybody you want to be connected with is on that same platform. And this is what's happened and why the dominance of these, huge big tech players, has really come about, and why startups can't really, make an inroad anymore. When's the last time you heard, besides of a company like MeWe, which I founded and I left 2 years ago to write how we're going to fix all this? When's the last time you heard of somebody launching a Facebook competitor? It's been years. Facebook is a complex product because there's many services on it, and they have the network effect. Your family, your friends, everybody you know in the world is somehow there, even if, a lot of people don't use it the way they used to. It's still there for that purpose, personal, social networking. That's, really interacting with people getting your news there, connecting with your family and friends, finding like-minded people, all their pages, their groups. And of course, they have Instagram as a complement feature. Um, so this network effect, and of course, then they bought WhatsApp. So now, supposedly you have this encrypted, service, which is actually, barely encrypted. It's encrypted all right, but Facebook changed the privacy policy on WhatsApp. I think it was in 2016. And then they kind of went public with it. I wrote about that in 2016 when they did it. They did it on Super Bowl weekend when nobody was paying attention. Um, but then fast forward to, it was about 2 or 3 years ago, then they really made it public that they, were taking permission to spy on everything you're doing on WhatsApp except the conversation that they couldn't access. But they know where you were, who you were talking to, for how long you were talking to them, who else is in the group or the conversation. I mean, they could piece it all together. So, and they still do, by the way. So if you're using WhatsApp and thinking your privacy is protected, think again, which is why the founders of WhatsApp, abandoned Facebook. The founders of Instagram, too, abandoned Facebook. We want to be savvy, but the network effect, and this leads us to what does the government do about it? And Jason, I want to step into this for a second, because this is one of those examples where we can't fix this on our own. Now, if you're paying attention, and even if you're not, don't worry, because I'm going to tell you what happened. Recently, 2 weeks ago, Google was found guilty of antitrust. And this is a huge, big deal. We have laws in our country to support capitalism, to support the free market. And then what happens is companies without ethics get bigger and bigger and bigger. This happened in big ag, in big energy, and now in big tech. They take over. So Google took over, Facebook took over, Amazon took over. And what this does is squeezes out all of the entrepreneurs. We've got a room full of entrepreneurs that are listening to this today, and, just great regular folks that are working on their careers and their lives. So if you get squeezed out because there's a big player that's too big, that's actually purposefully interfering. Google, for example, was paying big companies like Apple and many others to use their search engine. Google locked down 50% of the search engine, the ad market associated with search engines. And so Google's search engine was everywhere. And therefore, Google could manipulate the results of the search engine, put whatever their best, revenue deals are for your search results at the top, instead of actually giving you a really pure, clear, straightforward search result. So there's a case, the Federal Trade Commission, which prosecutes these cases, is now doing it with Facebook and with Amazon, because we've got to restore our sanity with help in certain ways from the government, and also then you've got the inventor of the web, Sir Tim Berners-Lee. So now Tim has called my new book, Restoring Our Sanity Online. Tim calls it a vital read. He says this is a vital read. Tim is also very involved and very disturbed about the complete erosion of privacy. So he and his team at Solid have created something called pods. Now, pods are a really cool phenomenon. And as they gain some traction momentum, this is very important. So in other words, a pod, your data will be stored on a pod. You'll decide what you upload to Facebook or Snap or MeWe or anywhere. And then you can pull it back, and you're going to control your data, and they won't be able to target or manipulate you without your permission. And this is going to change the game. It's called data portability or data interoperability. Now, you may have heard a little bit about this before, but we're going to need some government help in regulating structures so that, for example, when you download your Facebook account right now and you get all your posts and your pictures, it comes down in really, a tornado, a mess, and you can't upload it anywhere. Nobody can build an uploader to, upload it in a functioning manner on somebody else's website. So, these are things, something like that. So the point is, Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the web, also has his eye on this. And there's a lot to do. And we've gotten stuck with the network effect, and we've got to break the back of the network effect.
Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.